The engine of our automobile hummed steadily as we ventured into the desolate expanse of the Third Estate, a forsaken region of our planet shrouded in perpetual cold. My companions and I, a group of intrepid scientists, went on this journey with a singular purpose: to investigate the mysterious disturbances that had plagued the icy wasteland for decades. It was an expedition fueled by curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, yet tinged with apprehension as we delved deeper into territory long abandoned by civilization. The Third Estate had become a veritable dead zone, its frigid expanses devoid of life and untouched by the passage of time. And yet, despite its desolation, it remained an enigma, a blank canvas upon which the echoes of the past still whispered their secrets. The history of our planet was marred by the dark shadow of the Hasro coup, a cataclysmic event that had shattered the fabric of our society and plunged us into chaos. Once, our world had thrived in a delicate balance of peace and prosperity, its nations coexisting in harmony and mutual respect. But the rise of Yoha, the charismatic leader of the rebellion, had sparked a wave of unrest and upheaval that swept across the land like wildfire. With his army of formidable superbots at his command, Yoha had waged a ruthless campaign of conquest, subjugating entire regions and enslaving those who dared to oppose him. The once proud districts of our planet had fallen one by one, their defiance crushed beneath the iron fist of tyranny. My own district had not been spared from Yoha's insatiable greed for power. Led by my grandfather, a revered chief whose valor and wisdom were unmatched, we had fought bravely against the tide of oppression that threatened to engulf us. Tales of our resistance had become the stuff of legend, passed down through generations as a testament to our indomitable spirit. But despite our best efforts, the tide had turned against us, and we found ourselves overwhelmed by the relentless advance of Yoha's forces. Our defeat was a bitter pill to swallow, a harsh reminder of the fragility of our existence in the face of tyranny. And as Yoha consolidated his grip on power, promising unity and prosperity while tightening his stranglehold on our planet, we knew that the struggle was far from over. Years had passed since the dark days of the coup, yet Yoha's iron grip on our planet remained as firm as ever. His superbots patrolled the streets with ruthless efficiency, crushing any hint of dissent with merciless precision. Those who dared to oppose his authority were swiftly dealt with, their voices silenced by the cold, unfeeling steel of his loyal minions. And so, as we ventured deeper into the heart of the Third Estate, we did so with a sense of trepidation, knowing that our quest for knowledge could very well cost us our lives. But we were scientists, driven by an insatiable thirst for discovery, willing to risk everything in pursuit of the truth. For in the frozen wasteland of the Third Estate, amidst the echoes of a bygone era, lay the key to unlocking the mysteries of our planet's past, and perhaps its future. The oppressive regime of Joha, the tyrant who had seized control over all of Hasro's lands, cast a long shadow over our planet. With his insatiable thirst for power, he demanded that every district provide citizens for mandatory service every 2 years, fueling his insatiable appetite for conquest and control. It was a decree that left no one untouched, a grim reminder of the iron grip of tyranny that had tightened its hold upon us all. My father, recognizing the gravity of the situation, had sent me to serve in Yoha's army, believing that my experience in battle would grant me a deeper understanding of the conflict that had torn our world apart. But instead of being stationed on the front lines, where I could perhaps make a difference, I found myself relegated to the quarry, the sprawling scientific headquarters, where Joha's main army of superbots was being manufactured. As a scientist himself, Yoha had poured his considerable intellect and resources into the development of a new generation of superbots, machines of war that were stronger and more formidable than anything our planet had ever seen. These creations, forged from the icy depths of the Third Estate, were not mere weapons. They were extensions of Yoha's will, programmed to obey his commands without question. For 5 long years, I had labored within the confines of the quarry, learning the intricacies of superbots and their construction. It was a fascinating journey into the realm of science and engineering, yet I could not shake the feeling of unease that gnawed at my conscience. Like many of my fellow workers, I harbored deep reservations about the purpose to which our knowledge was being put. But in a world where dissent was met with swift and merciless retribution, we had little choice but to comply. Despite my misgivings, I threw myself into my work with a fervor born of necessity. Day after day, I honed my skills, learning how to build and repair the very machines that enforced Joha's iron rule. But with each passing day, the weight of my conscience grew heavier, burdened by the knowledge that my talents were being used to perpetuate oppression and suffering. And yet, as much as I despised the role I was forced to play, I knew that defiance was not an option. The consequences of disobedience were too dire to contemplate. Death awaited those who dared to challenge Joha's authority, their lives forfeit to the capricious whims of a tyrant drunk on power. But even as I toiled away in the icy depths of the quarry, a flicker of hope remained alive within me, a small ember of resistance that refused to be extinguished. For I knew that someday, somehow, the tide would turn, and the shackles of tyranny would be cast aside. And when that day came, I vowed to be ready, to stand with my fellow citizens and fight for the freedom that had been stolen from us. Recent disturbances in the Third Estate had thrown our world into turmoil. The ice was thawing at an alarming rate, and strange otherworldly signals were interfering with our own, causing our superbots to malfunction and return from their missions half-baked. Joha, sensing a threat to his power, had dispatched a handful of us from the quarry to investigate the source of these disturbances, and that was the reason for our journey into the heart of the wilderness. As our automobile trundled along the frozen landscape, I couldn't shake the feeling of foreboding that gripped my heart. The woods loomed ahead like a dark, forbidding specter, their twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers to grasp at our souls. But we pressed onward, driven by a sense of duty and determination to uncover the truth behind the strange phenomena that threatened to unravel our world. For weeks, our team had been stationed in the desolate expanse of the Third Estate, grappling with the enigma of the ice and the mysterious signal interference that had plagued our superbots. Despite our best efforts, we had been unable to pinpoint the source of the disturbance, leaving us frustrated and bewildered. On the surface, everything appeared normal. Our bots functioned as expected, and there were no apparent signs of malfunction. But beneath the icy veneer, a deeper mystery lay concealed, waiting to be unraveled. It was only when we delved deeper into the heart of the Third Estate that we began to realize the true nature of the signal. It emanated from within, buried deep beneath the surface of the ice. Determined to uncover its secrets, we pressed onward, venturing into the frozen depths with a mixture of trepidation and curiosity. After days of painstaking exploration, we finally stumbled upon a strange metallic pod buried beneath the ice. It was unlike anything we had ever seen, sleek and futuristic, its surface adorned with strange symbols and markings. Intrigued, we sent a video request back to our home base, notifying them of our discovery and requesting further instructions. To our surprise, the response came swiftly, and it was Joha himself who answered the call. It was the first time I had ever seen him directly address us, his cold, calculating gaze piercing through the screen with unnerving intensity. He wasted no time in issuing his commands, instructing us to awaken whatever lay dormant within the pod and bring it directly to him. A sense of unease settled over me as I listened to his words, but there was no room for hesitation. We had our orders. With a mixture of apprehension and curiosity, we set to work, carefully prying open the pod to reveal its contents. But what we found inside left us utterly speechless. It was not a bot, as we had expected, but a human being, frozen in stasis and preserved for who knew how long. Shock reverberated through our ranks as we struggled to comprehend the implications of our discovery. Who was this person? And what had brought them to this desolate corner of the world. As we pondered these questions, a sense of urgency gripped us. Joha had commanded us to bring the human directly to him, and we dared not disobey. With trembling hands, we gently extracted the figure from the pod, marveling at the sight of their frozen form. But as we prepared to transport them back to civilization, a nagging doubt lingered in the back of my mind. What did Yoha want with this mysterious stranger? And what role did they play in the unfolding drama of our world? As promised, a sleek automobile arrived to transport us and our unexpected cargo back to Joha's headquarters. We were ushered into the vehicle with a sense of urgency, the hum of its engines drowning out the murmurs of unease that filled the air. For the first time since our journey began, I found myself questioning the motives of our dictator. What was he hoping to achieve by bringing this human into his fold? And what secrets did they hold? As we sped through the frozen landscape, I couldn't shake the feeling of foreboding that gnawed at my insides. The truth lay hidden beneath layers of ice and deception, and I feared that our discovery would only serve to deepen the mystery surrounding the signal interference and the strange events unfolding in the Third Estate. But one thing was certain. We were no longer mere observers in this unfolding drama. We had become players in a game whose stakes were higher than any of us could have imagined, and the fate of our world hung in the balance. We wrapped the enigmatic human in layers of blankets, careful not to make direct contact with them. None of us dared to speak or touch the figure, apprehensive of the potential radiation they might emit. Our orders, issued by the tyrant Joha himself, were clear and uncompromising. Transport the individual to the quarry without delay, regardless of the risks involved. As we set out on our journey, the weight of our mission hung heavy in the air, overshadowed by the uncertainty of what lay ahead. But we pressed forward, driven by a sense of duty and the knowledge that disobedience was not an option. Our progress was abruptly halted when our automobile was ambushed and attacked by a group of rebels who had banded together to oppose Joha's tyrannical rule. They descended upon us with ferocity, unleashing a barrage of gases and holding us at gunpoint with steely determination. Despite our best efforts to resist, we were quickly overpowered, our bodies succumbing to the effects of the sedatives they administered. As darkness engulfed us, I could feel the weight of unconsciousness dragging me under, the last remnants of resistance fading into oblivion. When I finally regained consciousness, I found myself chained like a common criminal in the dimly lit confines of the rebels' hideout. Confusion and disorientation clouded my thoughts as I struggled to make sense of my surroundings. Beside me, my companions lay in similar states of captivity, their faces drawn with exhaustion and fear. As we attempted to explain our situation to our captors, they informed us that they were well aware of our mission. They had been monitoring our movements from the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Despite our protests of innocence, there was no denying the gravity of our predicament. We were prisoners, trapped in the heart of enemy territory with no hope of escape. It was then that their leader, Sisyphus, emerged from the shadows, his presence commanding respect and authority. He revealed to us the truth of our situation, that we had been deceived by Yoha, used as pawns in his ruthless quest for power and domination. Sisyphus, a former deputy under Joha's rule, had been privy to the secrets hidden within the depths of the quarry, and it was he who had uncovered the existence of a pod containing a superhuman being that had crash-landed on our planet. Driven by a thirst for power, Joha had exploited this discovery, using it as a means to solidify his hold over our world. But in doing so, he had unwittingly unleashed forces beyond his control, sparking a rebellion that threatened to topple his oppressive regime once and for all. As Sisyphus recounted his tale, a sense of disbelief washed over us. We had been manipulated and betrayed by our own leader, used as unwitting instruments of his tyranny. The realization hit me like a physical blow, leaving me reeling with shock and confusion. We pleaded with Sisyphus, urging him to release us from our captivity. While we admired and supported the rebels' cause, we knew that our prolonged presence could endanger them. If Yoha discovered that we had been taken by the rebels, he would stop at nothing to hunt them down, unleashing his merciless fury upon anyone who dared to oppose him. Reluctantly, Josephus agreed to our request, understanding the gravity of the situation. He knew that our safety was paramount, and that keeping us against our will could jeopardize the entire rebellion. With a heavy heart, we made the difficult decision to leave the superhuman behind, knowing that it was the only way to protect ourselves and the rebels from Joha's wrath. As we prepared to depart, Josephus assured us that the rebels would continue to fight for freedom, no matter the cost. We thanked him for his understanding and cooperation, knowing that our paths would likely cross again in the future. However, our relief was short-lived when the promised reinforcements arrived, revealing a grim truth: we had been betrayed. Instead of a peaceful escort to Joha's headquarters, we were met with a heavily armed military force, their intentions unmistakably hostile. Missiles and guns bristled from their ranks, accompanied by a squadron of formidable superbots. It quickly became apparent that they were not there to assist us, but to eliminate us and seize the superhuman for themselves. Panic surged through our veins as we realized the gravity of our predicament. We had walked into a trap, orchestrated by Joha, to ensure that no trace of our encounter with the rebels remained. As they closed in on us, demanding the whereabouts of the superhuman, we knew that our lives hung in the balance. Desperation clawed at our hearts as we searched for a way out of the deadly predicament we found ourselves in. But before the military could carry out their deadly mission, the rebels struck with swift and decisive force. Armed with subpar weapons but unmatched in skill and determination, they launched a counterattack against Joha's mercenaries, catching them off guard and turning the tide of battle in our favor. In the chaos that ensued, we were quickly rescued by the rebels, their bravery and sacrifice saving us from certain death. As we fled from the scene of the skirmish, our minds reeled with the realization that we had become pawns in a deadly game of power and deception. It was clear now that Joha would stop at nothing to maintain his iron grip on our world, and that our lives would never be safe as long as he remained in power. With nowhere else to turn, we knew that our only hope for survival lay with the rebels, who had risked everything to protect us from harm. And so, with heavy hearts and grim determination, we pledged ourselves to the cause of freedom, knowing that the road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty. But as long as we stood together with the rebels, we knew that there was still hope for a better future, a future where tyranny would be vanquished and the light of freedom would shine once more. As we returned to the rebel hideout, a sense of urgency hung in the air. We knew that time was running out, and that we needed to act quickly if we were to have any hope of defeating Joha once and for all. Josephus wasted no time in laying out his plan to dismantle the superhuman bot and unlock the secrets of its power. But as we gazed upon the motionless figure of the superhuman, a wave of unease washed over us. It didn't seem right to treat him like a mere machine, to be dissected and analyzed for the benefit of our own cause. He appeared sentient, with eyes that betrayed a glimmer of awareness, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were treading on dangerous ground. The engineers set to work, subjecting the superhuman to a battery of tests and examinations in an attempt to unravel the mysteries of his design. But despite their best efforts, the results proved elusive, with data too complex and incomprehensible for them to decipher. It was clear that we lacked the expertise and resources needed to fully understand the superhuman's capabilities. As frustration mounted and time slipped away, a sense of dread settled over us. We were no closer to uncovering the truth, and with Joha's forces closing in, our situation grew increasingly dire. Suddenly, the tranquility of the hideout was shattered by the sound of alarms blaring, signaling the arrival of Joha's men. We were surrounded, trapped within the confines of the hideout with no means of escape. Panic gripped us as we realized the gravity of our predicament. We were outnumbered and outgunned, with no hope of repelling the impending assault. Josephus's anger was palpable as he surveyed the scene before him. He knew that Joha's forces were there for the superhuman, and he refused to allow him to fall into their hands. With a determined glint in his eye, he made a fateful decision: to destroy the superhuman, to ensure that Joha would never lay claim to his power. But I couldn't stand idly by and watch as Sisyphus condemned the superhuman to destruction. Despite the risks, despite the uncertainty, I pleaded with him to reconsider. We still knew so little about the superhuman's capabilities, and to destroy him now would be to squander the one chance we had to turn the tide of the conflict in our favor. As tensions reached a fever pitch, a sudden commotion erupted from the corner of the room. The superhuman, previously motionless and docile, had broken free from his restraints and now hovered in the air before. That's his eyes ablaze with newfound purpose. With a single word, safe, he reassured us, before soaring out of the hideout and into the fray. As we emerged from the hideout, we were greeted by a sight that filled us with awe and disbelief. The superbots that had once menaced us now stood silent and inactive, their once formidable power subdued by the superhuman's will. It was then that we realized the truth. The superhuman was not a weapon to be controlled or destroyed, but a force of nature unto himself, capable of bending even the mightiest machines to his command. With newfound hope coursing through our veins, we prepared to face Yoha's forces head-on, knowing that with the superhuman on our side, victory was within our grasp. For if there's one thing we had learned, it's that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, the human spirit will always prevail. After conducting extensive tests and evaluations, we came to the unanimous conclusion that the superhuman possessed immense potential to aid us in our struggle against Yoha's tyranny. With his unmatched abilities and unwavering resolve, he offered us a glimmer of hope in our darkest hour. As we briefed him on the dire situation facing our planet, he revealed that he had been listening in on our conversations the entire time. However, due to his extended period of dormancy in the ice, he had only recently regained full mobility and control over his faculties. Nonetheless, he expressed his unwavering commitment to our cause, eager to lend his formidable powers to our fight against evil. The superhuman regaled us with tales of his origins, hailing from a distant planet known as Earth, a world unlike any other, teeming with life and vibrant energy. He explained that he was a fusion of human and machine, a being of unparalleled strength and resilience. His unique nature granted him a dominion over any robotic entities within a close radius, making him a formidable ally in our quest for liberation. With a sense of renewed determination, we set out to reclaim our planet, one territory at a time. Guided by the superhuman's expertise and strategic prowess, we launched a series of coordinated assaults on Joha's strongholds, liberating oppressed communities and rallying them to our cause. Our approach was methodical yet swift, utilizing the superhuman's abilities to neutralize Yoha's superbots. We infiltrated enemy territory and seized control, offering the people a taste of freedom they had long been denied. In the wake of our victories, word spread like wildfire, inspiring others to rise up against their oppressors and join our burgeoning resistance movement. With each success, our ranks swelled, bolstered by the newfound allies who flocked to our banner. Together, we forged a coalition of the willing, united in our shared determination to overthrow Yoha's despotic regime and restore peace and prosperity to our planet. But even as we celebrated our triumphs, we remained vigilant, knowing that Yoha would not take our defiance lightly. With every liberated district, we drew closer to our ultimate goal, but also closer to the inevitable clash that awaited us. As we basked in the glow of our recent victories, a chilling transmission from Yoha shattered the fleeting tranquility of our celebrations. His voice, dripping with malice and contempt, echoed through the airwaves, issuing a chilling ultimatum. In exchange for the 5 districts we had liberated, Yoha demanded the surrender of the superhuman, threatening destruction and devastation should we refuse to comply. His words hung heavy in the air, casting a shadow of uncertainty over our newfound hope. As the weight of Yoha's ultimatum hung heavy in the air, uncertainty gripped the hearts of the people. The prospect of surrendering the superhuman in exchange for peace seemed tempting, a fleeting promise of safety in the face of overwhelming odds. But Sisyphus's impassioned plea cut through the haze of doubt, reminding them of the sacrifices that had been made and the price of freedom they now enjoyed. "We cannot trust Joah to honor his word," Fossiphus declared, his voice ringing with conviction. "The only reason we stand here today, free from his tyranny, is because of the superhuman's intervention. To surrender him now would be to betray everything we have fought for. We must stand united, prepared to face whatever trials lie ahead." His words struck a chord with the people, dispelling their doubts and reaffirming their commitment to the cause. With a newfound sense of resolve, they rallied behind Fossiphus's leadership, ready to face the coming storm with unwavering determination. With war now inevitable, we wasted no time in fortifying our defenses and preparing for the inevitable onslaught. The 5 liberated districts became our strongholds, bastions of resistance against Joah's oppressive regime. Camps were established, defensive shields erected, and strategies devised to repel any incursion by Joah's forces. The superhuman stood ready, his formidable powers poised to defend our territories from any threat. With his unmatched strength and tactical prowess, we knew that we had a powerful ally on our side, a beacon of hope in the darkness of war. Days passed, tension mounting with each passing hour, until finally, Joah's presence loomed on the horizon like a dark cloud on the horizon. His massive warship, bristling with weaponry, descended upon our territories, casting a shadow of fear over the land. Behind it trailed an army of superbots, a relentless tide of mechanical soldiers, ready to enforce Joah's will with ruthless efficiency. But even as Joah issued his final warning, demanding our surrender in the face of overwhelming force, Fossiphus stood defiant, his voice echoing across the airwaves in a challenge to the tyrant's authority. "We do not bow to tyrants," he proclaimed, his words ringing out with unwavering resolve. "We stand as free men and women, ready to fight for our right to determine our own destiny." In response to our defiance, Joah unleashed his fury upon us, sending wave after wave of superbots to crush our resistance. But the superhuman stood as a bulwark against the onslaught, his power unmatched by any machine Joah could muster. With a single gesture, he disabled the attacking superbots, rendering them inert and powerless before our eyes. The people erupted into cheers, emboldened by the display of the superhuman's might. We knew now that the victory was within our grasp, that as long as we stood united, we could overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And with the battle raging around us, we prepared to fight for our freedom, knowing that the fate of our world hung in the balance. As the dust settled from the battle against Joah's superbots, a pall of exhaustion settled over us. The superhuman, having expended his considerable power to thwart the enemy's assault, stood weakened and vulnerable, his energy reserves depleted from the exertion. We watched with trepidation as he struggled to maintain his composure, knowing that our fate hung in the balance. But even as we caught our breath and tended to our wounds, a new threat emerged from the shadows. Without warning, Joah's forces launched a relentless assault on our positions, descending upon us with ruthless efficiency. Innocents fell before their onslaught, and flames consumed everything in their path, leaving destruction and despair in their wake. In the face of this sudden onslaught, we found ourselves woefully unprepared. Our defenses shattered, our forces scattered. We were left vulnerable and exposed to Joah's merciless fury. Yet even in the midst of chaos and despair, Fossiphus remained resolute, his determination unwavering in the face of overwhelming odds. When Joah's message echoed across the airwaves once more, demanding the surrender of the superhuman in exchange for our safety, Fossiphus refused to yield. "We will not bow to tyranny," he declared, his voice ringing out with defiance. "We will fight to the last breath for freedom and justice." But as the ambush raged on and the casualties mounted, it became clear that our defiance alone would not be enough to turn the tide of battle. With each passing moment, our situation grew increasingly dire, and the specter of defeat loomed ever closer. Amidst the chaos and despair, a sudden stillness fell over the battlefield, as the superhuman made a decision that would change the course of our fate. With a solemn resolve, he turned his gaze towards Joha's looming warship, his expression unreadable as he silently contemplated his next move. Without a word, he took to the skies, soaring towards the enemy vessel with a determination that brooked no resistance. We watched in stunned silence as he surrendered himself to Joha's forces, his actions a stark reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of peace. Phosphus's fury was palpable as he watched the scene unfold, his rage barely contained as he realized the extent of the superhuman's sacrifice. Yet even as despair threatened to consume us, a sense of resignation settled over the battlefield as we came to terms with the grim reality of our situation. With the superhuman in Joha's clutches, our hopes for victory dwindled, replaced by a grim acceptance of our inevitable fate. For in the end, we knew that the struggle for freedom often exacted a heavy toll, a price that we were all too willing to pay, no matter the cost. As Joha's chilling broadcast echoed across the airwaves, displaying his nefarious plans for our world, a sense of dread settled over us like a suffocating shroud. We watched in horror as he flaunted his captive, the superhuman, held captive in a cruel cage, his fate hanging in the balance as Joha plotted his sinister schemes. With cold calculation, Joha outlined his twisted vision for the future, detailing his plans to dissect the superhuman and harness his power to control us all. His words dripped with malice, his eyes gleaming with unholy fervor as he reveled in the prospect of absolute domination. But even as he spoke, a glimmer of hope flickered in the darkness, a tiny beacon of defiance that refused to be extinguished. For unbeknownst to Joha, the superhuman harbored a secret weapon, a fail-safe mechanism embedded deep within his core, waiting to be unleashed in the moment of greatest need. As Joha gloated over his victory, confident in his ability to bend the superhuman to his will, he failed to realize the grave error he had made. For in his haste to subdue his captive, he unwittingly triggered the emergency EMP protocol, sending a powerful surge of electromagnetic energy rippling through the air. In an instant, the world was plunged into darkness, as all electronic devices faltered and failed, including Joha's own mechanical minions and the colossal warship that served as his throne of power. Panic gripped the tyrant's heart as he watched his carefully laid plans crumble before his eyes, his grip on reality slipping with each passing moment. Desperate and afraid, Joha turned to the superhuman, begging for salvation in his hour of need. But the superhuman remained resolute, his eyes burning with righteous fury as he faced his captor with unyielding resolve. For he knew that true strength lay not in the ability to control others, but in the courage to stand against tyranny, no matter the cost. As the warship plummeted from the sky, a deafening roar filled the air, drowning out the cries of despair and the clamor of battle. The ground trembled beneath our feet as the behemoth of metal and machinery crashed to the earth, its once mighty hull reduced to twisted wreckage. In the aftermath of the cataclysmic crash, silence descended over the battlefield, broken only by the soft whispers of the wind and the distant echoes of our victory. Joha's reign of terror had come to an abrupt and decisive end, his dreams of domination shattered along with his warship. But amidst the rubble and ruin, a solemn sense of loss pervaded our hearts, for we knew that our victory had come at a great cost. The superhuman, our savior and champion, had made the ultimate sacrifice, laying down his life to ensure our freedom. As we gathered amidst the wreckage to honor his memory, a sense of reverence filled the air, mingled with gratitude and sorrow. For though the superhuman may have departed from this world, his legacy would live on in the hearts of all who had witnessed his courage and selflessness. And so, as we rebuilt our shattered world and forged a new future from the ashes of the old, we vowed never to forget the sacrifice of the superhuman, a beacon of hope in our darkest hour, and a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. As I descended the creaking staircase into the dimly lit basement, a chill ran down my spine. The air was heavy with anticipation, and the faint hum of the stasis pods filled the room. Each pod contained a champion, frozen in time, waiting for their moment to shine once again. We were desperate, clinging to the last shreds of hope as we searched for a champion to fill the void in our intergalactic championship. The colloquium, a space fighting ring that had been in my family for generations, was on the brink of collapse. Our latest defeat at the hands of the Dorax had left us in a precarious position, drowning in debt and struggling to stay afloat. The Dorax, a parasitical race from the X-Broad planet, had delivered a crushing blow to our pride and our finances. Their champion, a formidable opponent, despite their frail appearance, had soundly defeated Fist, our titan from Doa. It was a match we had staked everything on, a gamble that had left us teetering on the edge of ruin. We had called in champions from every corner of the galaxy to take on the Dorax, but to no avail. Their skill and ruthlessness knew no bounds, and one by one, they had defeated every challenger we threw at them. With each victory, the Dorax's influence grew, their grip on the galaxy tightening as more and more planets fell into debt to them. But now a new year had dawned, and with it, a new championship. We had spent months scouring the cosmos for the best fighters money could buy, assembling a team that we hoped could finally put an end to the Dorax's reign of terror. If we could defeat their champion, we would not only clear our debts, but also reclaim our honor and our freedom. As I stood before the rows of stasis pods, my heart heavy with the weight of our predicament, I knew that failure was not an option. We had come too far, sacrificed too much, to let the Dorax take everything from us. This championship would be our last stand, our final chance to reclaim what was rightfully ours. With a sense of determination burning in my chest, I began to awaken the champions one by one, their eyes flickering open as they emerged from their slumber. It was time to fight back, to show the Dorax that we would not go down without a fight. The fate of the colloquium, and indeed the entire galaxy, hung in the balance, and we were ready to do whatever it took to emerge victorious. Despite our meticulous preparation for the new colloquium season, fate seemed determined to throw a wrench in our plans. With only a day left until the competition's commencement, we received the devastating news. One of the champions had backed out, vanishing without a trace. Panic swept through our ranks as we realized the gravity of the situation. Without a full roster of 32 contestants, the competition could not proceed. "He just ran off?" I exclaimed, disbelief coloring my voice, as I stared at the empty space where the missing champion's pod once stood. Jarek cursed under his breath, his frustration evident. "We don't have time for this. We need to find a replacement, fast." Frantic calls were made to every corner of the galaxy, beseeching planets to send forth their champions to fill the vacant slot. But time was not on our side, and despite our best efforts, none could make it in time for the competition's start. Desperation gnawed at our resolve as the deadline loomed closer. "It's no use," Jarek sighed, running a hand through his hair in defeat. "We need a miracle to salvage this." That's when a desperate idea struck me. "What about the Dorax?" I suggested, my voice tinged with uncertainty. "They owe us, don't they? Perhaps they'll be willing to bend the rules a bit, considering the circumstances." Reluctantly, we approached the Dorax, our hearts heavy with the weight of our indebtedness. We pleaded with them to relax the rules just this once, to allow the competition to proceed despite the absence of a single contestant. But the Dorax, ever grumpy and unyielding, refused to budge. "You know the rules," their representative sneered, a smug grin tugging at the corners of their mouth. "All 32 slots must be filled, or the competition cannot go on." Desperation clawed at my chest as I racked my brain for a solution. And then, like a bolt from the blue, it hit me. "The basement," I blurted out, the words tumbling from my lips before I could stop them. "We have champions there, don't we? Disgraced, dishonored, but still champions nonetheless. Surely one of them could fill the void." The Dorax exchanged a knowing glance before nodding in agreement. "Very well," they relented. their voice dripping with malice. "You may wake one of your basement champions for the competition. But remember, this is your last chance." The colloquium basement was a place shrouded in darkness and shame, a prison for those who had fallen from grace and chosen to remain in exile rather than face the scorn of their home planets. It was a place of forgotten dreams and shattered ambitions, a testament to the harsh reality of life in the arena. As we descended into the depths of the basement, a chill ran down my spine, and I couldn't help but feel a pang of pity for the souls trapped within its confines. But there was no time for sentimentality. We had a competition to win, and our only hope lay in awakening one of these disgraced champions to fight once more. The dimly lit basement seemed to stretch on for miles, a labyrinth of forgotten dreams and shattered hopes. As we scanned the rows of closed pods, a sense of overwhelming uncertainty washed over us. How were we supposed to choose from among so many dormant champions? And would it even make a difference in the grand scheme of things? Yarrick and I exchanged a helpless glance, our resolve wavering in the face of such daunting odds. But there was no time for hesitation. We had a competition to salvage, and our only hope lay in awakening one of these slumbering warriors. With a resigned shrug, we approached the nearest pod and pressed the button at random, bracing ourselves for whatever fate had in store. The pod hissed open, revealing a figure shrouded in darkness. As the mist cleared, our eyes widened in disbelief. "It can't be," Yarrick whispered, his voice tinged with awe. Standing before us was a human, a species long thought extinct from the arena. Tales of their prowess and tenacity had been passed down through generations, but none had ever graced our ring until now. Me and my brother had heard whispers of the human champion, his legend shrouded in mystery and intrigue. He had been the stuff of legends, a paragon of strength and skill unmatched by any other warrior in the cosmos. But what had become of him remained a mystery, lost to the annals of time. "He was defeated," I murmured, my voice barely above a whisper. But the official story was that he retired. No one knows what truly happened to him. As we gazed upon the human standing before us, a wave of reverence washed over me. This was no ordinary champion. This was a legend reborn. The human rose from his pod with a fierce scowl, his eyes ablaze with fury at being awakened from his slumber. He would have preferred to remain in stasis for eternity, but we explained the dire situation facing our family and the colloquium. "All you have to do is fight one round," I pleaded, desperation lacing my words. "Even if you lose, you can return to your eternal sleep. Please, we need your help." For a long moment, the human regarded us with a steely gaze, weighing our words carefully, and then with a resigned sigh, he nodded in agreement. "Your family has always been kind to me," he said, his voice tinged with gratitude, "and for that I will help you. But make no mistake, this is a one-time deal. After this, I return to my slumber." With that, the human champion stepped forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And as I watched him stride confidently towards the arena, a spark of hope ignited within me. Perhaps against all odds, we still stood a chance of emerging victorious. As the competition drew near, I found myself tasked with guiding our newest recruit, the human champion, through the intricacies of the modern colloquium. His presence among us was a beacon of hope, a reminder of the legends of old reborn, to face the challenges of the present. But as I led him through the sleek corridors of the arena, I couldn't shake the feeling of apprehension gnawing at my gut. "This colloquium is different from the one you knew," I explained, gesturing to the modern surroundings with a sense of unease. "The fighters here are more advanced, more modern. I worry about how you'll fare in the ring, against opponents who wield technology beyond your comprehension." The human merely chuckled, his eyes glinting with determination. "Technology may have changed, but the spirit of a warrior remains the same. I may be ancient by your standards, but I come from a long line of great fighters. Trust me, I'll hold my own." I helped the human don his armor, a sleek suit designed to protect him against the onslaught of his opponents. As we made our way to his chambers, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride at his resilience in the face of adversity. Despite the odds stacked against him, he remained steadfast in his resolve to fight for our family's honor. Rest well, I said, clasping his shoulder in a gesture of camaraderie. Tomorrow, the real battle begins. The next day dawned bright and clear, anticipation crackling in the air as the draw for the competition was announced. The Dorax champion, a formidable opponent known for his ruthless tactics, would be facing off against the sample champion, a renowned warrior who had never tasted defeat. It was a matchup filled with excitement and intrigue, and I couldn't help but feel a surge of hope at the prospect of the Dorax being taken down early in the competition. As for the human, his opponent was none other than Fist, our resident Titan and reigning champion. I knew the odds were stacked against him. Fist was not only the strongest fighter I'd ever known, but he also possessed unparalleled fighting skills honed through years of experience in the arena. The human, however, seemed unfazed by the daunting task ahead of him. "He's going down," I muttered under my breath, unable to conceal my doubt as I watched the human prepare for his match. Fist is unbeatable. There's no way he'll stand a chance. But the human merely flashed me a confident smile, his eyes sparkling with a fierce determination that took me aback. "Have a little faith," he said, his voice tinged with amusement. "I may be old, but I come from a long line of great fighters. You'd be surprised what an ancient warrior like me can do." With that, he strode confidently towards the arena, leaving me to ponder the true extent of his abilities. And as I watched him disappear into the crowd, a spark of hope ignited within me. Perhaps, against all odds, the human champion would prove to be the wild card we needed to turn the tide in our favor. The atmosphere in the arena was electric as the first fight of the competition drew near. Spectators from across the galaxy filled the stands, eager to witness the spectacle unfold before their eyes. Fist, our resident Titan, was a fan favorite, his reputation as a formidable fighter preceding him wherever he went. The crowd loved him for his showmanship, and they had turned out in droves to watch him on opening day. But as the human champion stepped onto the stage, a ripple of laughter swept through the audience. They mocked his diminutive size, confident in the belief that he would be no match for the mighty Fist. After all, what chance did a mere human stand against a towering Titan? The jeers and taunts only served to fuel the human's determination as he squared off against his opponent. Ignoring the mockery of the crowd, he focused all his energy on the task at hand. And when the match began, he wasted no time in springing into action. With agility and precision that belied his size, the human darted around Fist, striking at his weak points with lightning speed. The Titan, caught off guard by the ferocity of his opponent, struggled to keep up with the flurry of blows raining down upon him. In a matter of moments, the unthinkable happened. The mighty Fist, undefeated champion of the arena, crumpled to the ground beneath the relentless assault of the human. The crowd erupted into stunned silence, disbelief writ large on their faces as they watched their beloved Titan fall. But as the realization of what had just occurred sunk in, the silence gave way to thunderous applause. The crowd, unable to contain their astonishment, rose to their feet in a cacophony of cheers and screams, their voices ringing out in celebration of the new champion before them. I stood among the throng of spectators, my own disbelief mirrored in the expressions of those around me. Never in all my years of watching the arena had I witnessed such a stunning upset. Fist, the unbeatable Titan, had been defeated in a matter of minutes by a mere human. Somewhere deep within me, a spark of excitement ignited. This was no ordinary championship. This was a battle of epic proportions, a clash of titans old and new. And as I watched the human bask in the adulation of the crowd, a sense of anticipation washed over me. The competition was far from over, and with each passing moment, it promised to become even more thrilling than I could have ever imagined. After the electrifying performance of our Titan, Fist, and the human champion, the subsequent fights paled in comparison. While there were still battles waged and champions crowned, none could match the sheer energy and excitement of the opening match. The audience hungered for more, craving the same level of intensity and drama that had captivated them from the start. That hunger was finally sated when the time came for the final match of the championship. The anticipation in the arena was palpable, as the Dorax champion and the sample champion, both formidable in their own right, squared off in the ring. It was a clash of titans, a battle that promised to be one of the most unpredictable of the entire competition. We had deliberately saved it for last, knowing that it would draw the attention of spectators far and wide. Before the fight began, the Sampala champion stepped forward, his voice ringing out across the arena as he addressed the crowd. He spoke of his mightiness, his unbeaten record, and his unwavering determination to crush his opponent. The Dorax champion, by contrast, remained silent, his expression unreadable beneath his intimidating visage. As the fight commenced, the tension in the arena reached a fever pitch. The combatants clashed with ferocity, each determined to emerge victorious at any cost. But in a shocking display of sheer brute force, the Dorax champion caught his opponent off guard, delivering a devastating blow that tore him in half. Gasps of horror echoed through the crowd as they watched in stunned disbelief. Never before had such violence been witnessed in the arena. While there were no explicit rules against killing in the ring, the act was seen as a flagrant disregard for the unspoken code of honor that governed the battles fought within its confines. In any other circumstance, such a gruesome display would have led to the immediate cancellation of the championship. But the stakes were too high, and our family's financial future depended on the success of the event. With heavy hearts, we explained to the Dorax the importance of honor and respect in the arena, hoping to prevent such atrocities from occurring again in the future. To our surprise, the Dorax gleefully apologized for the incident, their words dripping with false sincerity as they promised that such actions would not be repeated. But deep down, I knew it was more than just a simple apology. It was a statement, a declaration of their power and dominance over all who dared to challenge them. As I watched the Dorax champion revel in his victory, a chill ran down my spine. It was clear that they would stop at nothing to assert their dominance in the arena, to instill fear and submission in their opponents and the audience alike. And as the cheers of the crowd mingled with the echoes of the fallen, I couldn't help but wonder what other horrors awaited us in the battles yet to come. As the competition progressed to the next round, my apprehension about the aftermath of the Dorax champion's brutal display of violence proved to be unfounded. If anything, the incident seemed to draw even more attention to the championship. The arena was packed to the brim with spectators, their anticipation palpable as they eagerly awaited the next round of battles. It seemed that the allure of bloodshed was too great to resist, drawing in even those who had previously shown little interest in the arena. The next match pitted the human champion against the Karal champion, renowned for their incredible flexibility and agility. As the two fighters squared off in the ring, the crowd watched with bated breath, eager to see how the human would fare against his nimble opponent. Despite the Karal champion's impressive skills, the human proved to be more than a match for him. With a combination of strength, agility, and sheer determination, he disabled his opponent at his own game, ultimately emerging victorious with a knockout after several grueling rounds. The final match of the day saw the Dorax champion facing off against a champion from Glylis. From the outset, it was clear that the odds were stacked heavily in favor of the Dorax. The Glylis champion, his expression a mask of fear, stood little chance against the ruthless aggression of his opponent. Though he fought valiantly, it was ultimately a futile effort. In a matter of minutes, the Dorax champion emerged triumphant, his victory assured as he delivered blow after devastating blow, until his opponent lay defeated and unconscious on the stage. Thankfully, unlike the previous Dorax opponent, the Glylis champion emerged from the match battered and bruised, but ultimately alive. It was a small mercy in the face of the violence that had come to define the championship thus far. As the crowd roared with approval at the Dorax champion's victory, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease settle over me. With each passing match, the stakes grew higher and the battles more brutal. And as I watched the fallen Glylis champion being carried from the stage, I couldn't shake the feeling that the worst was yet to come. As the championship progressed, it became increasingly clear that the human champion was emerging as a favorite among spectators. His humility, skill, and unwavering determination had captured the hearts of the audience, drawing cheers and admiration from all corners of the arena. With each victory, his legend grew, and whispers of his potential to reach the finals began to spread like wildfire. However, amidst the growing fervor surrounding the human champion, there emerged a formidable contender, Bari from the Seven Stars. Known for his extraordinary flexibility and unbreakable skin, Bari was a force to be reckoned with in the arena. His endurance was legendary, capable of enduring 20 rounds of brutal combat without faltering. As the quarterfinals drew near, anticipation reached a fever pitch, for it was destined to be a clash of titans between the human and Bari. The prospect of the human and Bari facing off in the ring divided our family. While Bari's warm personality and formidable skills endeared him to many, others, myself included, harbored a deep-rooted desire to see the human triumph against all odds. Perhaps it was the bond forged between us, or simply the belief that he possessed the resilience and courage to overcome any challenge. Regardless, the impending showdown between the two champions filled me with a sense of conflicting emotions. Adding to the tension was the relentless taunting of the Dorax champion, who took every opportunity to belittle the human and undermine his chances of success. During breaks in the competition, he would hurl insults and jabs at the human's perceived frailty, mocking his achievements as mere strokes of luck. While the human typically brushed off such remarks with a stoic silence, there came a point when his patience reached its limit. Fueled by frustration and a burning desire to prove himself, the human issued a bold challenge to the Dorax champion. In exchange for forfeiting half of our debts, he proposed a bet. If he were to defeat Bari in the quarterfinals, the Dorax would be obligated to relinquish a portion of the debt owed by our family. The Dorax, confident in their champion's superiority, readily accepted the wager, believing it to be an impossible task for a human like the one before them. With a firm handshake sealing the deal, the stage was set for a showdown of epic proportions. The quarterfinals promised to be a battle not only for victory in the arena, but also for the very future of our family. And as I watched the human prepare to face his most formidable opponent yet, I couldn't help but feel a surge of hope swell within me. For against all odds, he had proven time and again that he was more than just a mere contender. He was a champion in every sense of the word. As the quarterfinals commenced, the tension in the arena was palpable. All eyes were fixed on the ring where Bari from the Seven Stars and the human champion stood poised for battle. Despite the stakes, both contenders displayed a mutual respect, exchanging a courteous bow before the fight began. From the outset, it was clear that this would be no ordinary bout. Blow after blow was exchanged between the two fighters, each landing with the force of a hammer. Yet, despite their best efforts, neither Bari nor the human could gain a decisive advantage. Round after round passed by, each one blending seamlessly to the next, as the fighters refused to yield. By the 11th round, exhaustion began to take its toll, and Bari seemed to be gaining the upper hand. His blows rained down upon the human with relentless ferocity, threatening to bring him crashing to the ground. But, to everyone's surprise, the human refused to surrender. With a resilience born of sheer determination, he weathered the storm and fought on, refusing to back down in the face of adversity. Round after round passed, each one more grueling than the last. Yet still, neither fighter showed any sign of yielding. The crowd watched in stunned silence, unable to tear their eyes away from the spectacle unfolding before them. Eventually, Bari gained the upper hand once more, delivering a devastating blow that sent the human crashing to the ground. As the referee counted down the seconds, it seemed as though all hope was lost. But just when it seemed that all was lost, the human rose to his feet, his spirit unbroken despite the odds stacked against him. With a renewed sense of determination, he launched himself back into the fray, his blows raining down upon Bari with renewed vigor. And then, in a stunning reversal of fortune, Bari faltered, his defenses crumbling beneath the relentless assault of the human. With one final, decisive blow, the human emerged victorious, his opponent lying defeated at his feet. As the cheers of the crowd reverberated through the arena, we approached the Dorax champion to honor our agreement. But to our dismay, they refused, claiming that the fight had been fixed. It was a bitter blow, a betrayal of the trust that had been placed in them. Yet, Despite their refusal, the human champion remained undeterred. With a steely determination in his eyes, he issued a bold challenge to the Dorax champion. In exchange for a percentage of our debts, he proposed that if he were to defeat the Dorax champion in the final round, all debts would be forfeited. Out of arrogance, the Dorax champion accepted, confident in their own superiority. But little did they know that they had just sealed their own fate, for the human champion was not one to be underestimated. And as the final round drew near, the stage was set for a showdown of epic proportions, a battle that would determine not only the fate of our family, but the very future of the arena itself. As the semifinals loomed on the horizon, I found myself consumed by curiosity about the human champion's past. If he possessed such remarkable skill and resilience, why had he been consigned to the depths of the colloquium's basement? Gathering my courage, I approached him, eager to uncover the truth behind his enigmatic presence in the arena. With a solemn expression, the human shared his story with me. He spoke of a time when he had come to the colloquium with his beloved wife, his sole source of motivation and inspiration. Her presence had fueled his determination to excel in the arena, driving him to push himself beyond his limits with each passing day. But their happiness was short-lived, shattered by the jealousy and enmity of his fellow fighters. Driven by their envy, they had conspired to rob him of everything he held dear, culminating in the senseless murder of his beloved wife. Devastated by his loss and disillusioned by the cruelty of the world, he had chosen to retreat into the shadows, seeking solace in the darkness of the basement. Yet, with the passage of time, something within him had changed. No longer content to cower in fear or hide from the bullies of the world, he had resolved to face them head-on, to confront the darkness that had consumed him and emerge victorious. And in that moment, as he stood before me, his eyes blazing with determination, I knew that he was destined for greatness. With a heartfelt gratitude, he thanked me for giving him the chance to awaken from his self-imposed slumber, to once again take up the mantle of a champion and fight for honor and redemption. With renewed purpose, the human entered the ring for the semifinals, his resolve unshakable and his spirit indomitable. In a display of unmatched skill and ferocity, he dispatched his opponent with ease, his blows landing with the precision of a seasoned warrior. As I watched him dominate the competition with each passing round, a sense of pride swelled within me. For in him I saw not just a champion, but a beacon of hope for our family, a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. Deep down, I knew that he would be the one to lead us out of debt and into a brighter future. And as he stood victorious in the arena, bathed in the adoration of the crowd, I couldn't help but believe that anything was possible with a champion like him leading the way. As the final fight of the championship loomed large, the tension in the arena was palpable. All eyes were fixed on the ring, where the human champion stood poised to face his ultimate opponent, the fearsome Dorax champion. With the fate of the colloquium hanging in the balance, the stakes had never been higher. If the human emerged victorious, our debts to the Dorax would be settled, and we would finally be free from their grasp. But if he were to falter, if he were to succumb to the might of the Dorax champion, then the colloquium would fall into their hands, spelling disaster for us all. As the fight began, the Dorax champion wasted no time in asserting his dominance, unleashing a barrage of heavy blows upon his opponent. For a moment, it seemed as though victory was all but assured for the Dorax, his relentless assault leaving the human reeling. But just when all hope seemed lost, the human rallied, summoning forth a reserve of strength and determination that seemed to defy comprehension. With a series of lightning-fast counterattacks, he turned the tide of battle in an instant, seizing control of the ring and leaving the Dorax champion staggered and bewildered. Round after round passed in a blur of ferocious combat, each blow ringing out like a thunderclap as the two champions clashed with the unmatched intensity. And then, in a stunning display of skill and resilience, the human emerged victorious, his opponent lying battered and defeated at his feet. As the cheers of the crowd reverberated through the arena, the human stood triumphant, his victory a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. But even in his moment of triumph, he showed compassion and mercy, extending a hand of mercy to his fallen foe. With our debts to the Dorax settled and their influence banished from the colloquium, a newfound sense of freedom and hope washed over us all. And as we gathered to honor the human champion, we knew that his courage and sacrifice had saved not only the colloquium, but our very way of life. In recognition of his bravery, we erected a monument in his honor, a symbol of gratitude and reverence for all that he had done. And when he chose to remain with us, to lend his strength and skill to the rebuilding of the colloquium, we welcomed him as one of our own, for he had truly become part of our family. As we looked to the future, guided by the light of his example, we knew that no challenge would be too great, no obstacle too insurmountable. For in the heart of the human champion, we had found the true essence of heroism, the unwavering belief in the power of courage, compassion, and the indomitable spirit of humanity. Our ship, the diplomatic Endeavor, glided gracefully through the void of space, its sleek metallic exterior reflecting the distant stars. Led by the formidable Lady Tharnox, our team went on a mission of unprecedented significance to establish peaceful relations with civilizations beyond our own. As we approached the third planet in the solar system, Earth, a surge of excitement rippled through the crew. This was our first encounter with a planet inhabited by intelligent life forms, and the anticipation was palpable. Prepare for gravitational entry. Lady Tharnox's voice resonated through the ship's intercom, her tone steady and commanding. We're entering Earth's atmosphere. The ship trembled as it succumbed to the powerful forces of Earth's gravitational pull. My heart raced as I braced myself for the turbulence ahead. Despite my role as a mere steward on board the diplomatic Endeavor, I felt a surge of adrenaline course through my veins. Our ship had endured its fair share of challenges during our interstellar journey, and it showed. The hull bore scars from encounters with asteroid fields, and our propulsion systems strained under the weight of long-distance travel. Without Lady Tharnox's expert piloting skills, we would have been lost among the stars. Most of the crew, myself included, were ill-prepared for the trials that lay ahead. We were diplomats, not seasoned explorers or warriors, but under Lady Tharnox's leadership, we found strength in unity, each member of the team contributing what they could to ensure our survival. As we descended further into Earth's atmosphere, the ship groaned and shuddered, protesting against the strain. Lady Tharnox remained undaunted, her hands steady on the controls as she navigated through the turbulent skies. "We're approaching the landing site," Lady Tharnox announced, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Prepare for touchdown." With a final burst of effort, Lady Tharnox guided the diplomatic Endeavor toward the surface of Earth. The ground rushed up to meet us, and for a moment it seemed as though all would be lost. But then, with a jolt that sent us reeling, the ship made contact with solid ground. Cheers erupted throughout the vessel as we realized we had survived the ordeal. Lady Tharnox's face bore a triumphant smile as she surveyed the scene before her. Despite the odds stacked against us, we had made it to Earth in one piece. As the adrenaline of our harrowing descent began to fade, a sense of wonder washed over me. We had embarked on this journey in search of new allies and potential friends. And now, as we stood on the surface of an alien world, the possibilities seemed endless. Little did we know, our encounter with Earth was just the beginning of a journey that would forever alter the course of history for both our civilizations. As the diplomatic Endeavor touched down on the surface of Earth, I couldn't shake the feeling of disbelief that gripped me. How had we, a group of diplomats from the distant planet of Guerrera, ended up on this alien world? The memories of our mission flooded back to me, bringing with them a sense of urgency and purpose. We had set out from Guerrera, our home planet, with a singular objective: to investigate and resolve the complexities of the war that ravaged our world. Once a beacon of unity and peace, Guerrera was now torn asunder by political strife and conflict. I cast my mind back to the vibrant tapestry of life that had once characterized Guerrera. It was a planet unlike any other, boasting a rich diversity of species that had coexisted in harmony for centuries. We took pride in our ability to embrace our differences and forge a society based on mutual respect and understanding. But in recent years, that harmony had been shattered by the rise of political factions, Guerrera East and Guerrera West, each vying for control over our planet's dwindling resources. What had begun as a difference in ideology had escalated into a full-blown war, leaving destruction and despair in its wake. The South, once a thriving region teeming with life, had borne the brunt of the violence. Its cities lay in ruins, its landscapes scarred by the relentless onslaught of war. The annihilation of the South served as a grim reminder of the stakes at hand. The very survival of our planet hung in the balance. Amidst the chaos, the Central Council, the governing body of Guerrera, situated in the floating island city of Hevia, had taken decisive action. They had dispatched us, the diplomatic endeavor, as honorable scouts tasked with uncovering the truth behind the war. Led by Lady Tharnax, our esteemed military leader and ship captain, we embarked on our mission with a sense of purpose and determination. Our goal was clear: to investigate the root causes of the conflict, to discern the motivations driving it, and to seek a resolution that would bring an end to the suffering of our people. As the diplomatic endeavor descended towards Earth, our anticipation turned to dread, as we were suddenly jolted by the piercing alarm of an incoming threat. A rogue ship, bearing the insignia of Guerrero East, but devoid of any diplomatic pretenses, emerged from the shadows of space, its weapons primed and ready for attack. Despite our desperate attempts to establish communication and convey our peaceful intentions as diplomats, the rogue ship showed no signs of relenting. They were determined to take us down, no matter the cost. With mounting apprehension, we realized that our scout ship, the diplomatic endeavor, lacked the firepower to engage in direct combat. Our only option was to retreat, to buy ourselves precious moments, to devise a plan of escape. Lady Tharnax, our indomitable leader and the sole member of our crew with military experience, took command with unwavering resolve. Her voice cut through the chaos, guiding us through evasive maneuvers and directing our course amidst a barrage of enemy fire. But despite our best efforts, the rogue ship's onslaught grew fiercer with each passing moment. Our hull rattled as we were struck by enemy projectiles, our defenses crumbling under the relentless assault. In a desperate bid to fend off our attackers, Lady Tharnax hurled our meager supply of flares towards the rogue ship, hoping to distract them long enough for us to escape. But our makeshift defense proved futile as the enemy's guided missiles tore through the flares with merciless precision, leaving us defenseless and exposed. With our options dwindling and the threat of imminent destruction looming overhead, Lady Tharnax made a bold decision. She knew that we could not reason with our attackers. They were intent on our destruction. But perhaps, she reasoned, there was still a chance for survival. In a daring move born of desperation, Lady Tharnax steered the diplomatic endeavor towards a nearby wormhole, a dark and treacherous passage into the unknown depths of space. Though uncharted and perilous, the wormhole offered the only glimmer of hope in our darkest hour. With a leap of faith, we plunged into the swirling vortex of the wormhole, our senses reeling as we hurtled through the fabric of space-time. Moments stretched into eternity as we traversed the cosmic abyss, uncertainty gnawing at our hearts. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, our journey through the wormhole came to an end. We emerged on the other side of the universe, our ship battered and bruised but miraculously intact. And as we surveyed our new surroundings, the lush landscapes and vibrant skies of Earth, we knew that our odyssey was far from over. But wherever our path may lead, we would face it together, united in our determination to overcome the challenges that lay ahead. As the diplomatic endeavor settled onto the surface of Earth, our hearts heavy with uncertainty, Lady Tharnax wasted no time in assessing the situation. With a sense of urgency, she instructed Wix-1, our trusty residual robot, to conduct a thorough health check on our ship. The news delivered by Wix-1 was grim. The diplomatic endeavor, our sole lifeline to our home planet of Guerrera, was beyond repair. Even if we were to somehow coax it into motion, its systems were too compromised to withstand the rigors of space travel. The realization hit us like a physical blow, leaving us reeling with despair. For many of us, the longing for home was almost unbearable. Despite the devastation wrought by the war between Guerrera East and Guerrera West, our hearts still yearned for the familiar comforts of our homeland. We longed to reunite with our families, to rebuild our shattered lives amidst the ruins of our once beautiful planet. But as Lady Tharnax addressed us, her voice steady and resolute, a glimmer of hope flickered amidst the darkness of our despair. She reminded us of our duty, to ourselves, to each other, and to the memory of our fallen world. Though the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, we could not afford to lose hope. We may be stranded on this alien world, Lady Tharnax declared, her gaze unwavering. But we are not defeated. Our priority now is survival, to rebuild our ship, to gather the resources we need to sustain ourselves, and to find a way back home. Her words stirred something within us, a determination to persevere in the face of adversity. Though the task ahead seemed daunting, we knew that we could count on Lady Tharnax to lead us through the darkness. With her guidance, we would weather this storm and emerge stronger on the other side. And so, with renewed purpose, we set out to explore this mysterious planet known as Earth. Our first priority was to gather the materials we needed to repair the diplomatic endeavor, to salvage what we could from the wreckage of our ship, and scavenge the surrounding landscape for resources. Though our journey had taken an unexpected turn, we remained steadfast in our resolve. For as long as there was breath in our bodies, we would continue to fight for our survival, for our home, and for the hope of a brighter tomorrow. And with Lady Tharnax at our side, we knew that anything was possible. As the doors of the diplomatic endeavor parted, revealing the breathtaking landscape of Earth, a sense of wonder washed over us. The monitors aboard our ship had failed to capture the true majesty of this planet. For now, as we stepped onto its surface, we were greeted by a world of unparalleled beauty. The lush greenery stretched out before us, a verdant tapestry of forests and meadows that seemed to stretch on for eternity. The air was crisp and clean, tinged with the scent of earth and vegetation. And in the distance, the shimmering expanse of the ocean beckoned, its azure waters sparkling in the sunlight. For a moment, we simply stood in awe, drinking in the sights and sounds of this wondrous planet. Earth was a world unlike any we had ever known, a place of boundless natural beauty and untamed wilderness. But amidst the splendor of our surroundings, there was a sense of tranquility that enveloped us, a feeling of peace and serenity that we had not felt in far too long. It was as if the very essence of Earth itself reached out to embrace us, welcoming us with open arms. Our residual robot, Wix-1, hovered nearby, its electronic voice breaking the silence as it recounted the ancient history of our planet's contact with Earth. Thousands of years ago, when Earth was still in its primitive stages of development, our ancestors had made contact with this distant world. But the details of that encounter were lost to time, buried beneath layers of history and forgotten lore. Despite Wix-1's limitations in accessing relevant data, we found ourselves untroubled by the mysteries of the past. In this moment, all that mattered was the here and now, the simple joy of being able to breathe the fresh air, to feel the warmth of the sun on our faces, and to revel in the beauty of this new world. As we explored further into the heart of Earth, our spirits lifted with each passing moment. There was a sense of freedom here, a sense of possibility that stirred something deep within our souls. It was as if we had found a second home, a sanctuary amidst the chaos of the universe. And so, with hearts full of gratitude and wonder, we embraced the beauty of Earth, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, united in our quest for a brighter future. For in the embrace of this beautiful planet, we had found a newfound sense of hope, a beacon of light in the darkness of the cosmos. Our residual robot, Wix-1, identified our current location as the ancient city of New York, a once bustling metropolis that now lay eerily silent before us. As we approached the city center, The towering skyscrapers loomed overhead, casting long shadows across the empty streets below. It was a sight to behold, a testament to human ingenuity and achievement. Yet there was something undeniably unsettling about the absence of life amidst such grandeur. As we ventured further into the heart of New York, we marveled at the wonders that surrounded us. The towering buildings, the sprawling parks, the bustling thoroughfares, all now devoid of the human presence that once defined them. It was as if the entire city had been frozen in time, trapped in a perpetual state of emptiness and silence. Our lady captain wasted no time in ordering Wix-1 to conduct a thorough survey of the area. Was this a trap, an ambush orchestrated by some unseen foe, or was there something more sinister at play? Wix-1 diligently scanned the surroundings, its sensors probing every corner of the city in search of any signs of life. But to our astonishment, there was none to be found. No hidden enemies lying in wait. No elaborate ruse to lure us into a trap. Just emptiness, stretching out before us like a vast, desolate wasteland. With a sense of foreboding, our lady captain instructed Wix-1 to widen the scope of its search, extending its sensors to encompass the entire planet. What we discovered was nothing short of chilling. After several exhaustive searches, Wix-1 came to the startling conclusion that there were no humans left on Earth, not in New York, nor anywhere else on the planet. It was as if they had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only echoes of their presence and the empty husk of their once thriving civilization. The revelation sent shockwaves through our crew, each of us grappling with the implications of what we had learned. Where had the humans gone? What fate had befallen them? And most importantly, were we now faced with the same dangers that had driven them from their home? As we pondered these questions, a sense of unease settled over us, casting a shadow over the beauty of this enigmatic planet. For in the absence of humanity, Earth had become a place of mystery and uncertainty, a world fraught with danger and unanswered questions. And it was up to us to uncover the truth, to unravel the secrets that lay hidden beneath the surface, and to ensure that the fate of the humans did not become our own. As we grappled with the mystery of Earth's vanished inhabitants, a glimmer of excitement ignited within us, an opportunity to explore this deserted planet and claim its treasures as our own. With the realization that everything was now free for the taking, our lady captain wasted no time in dividing us into teams, each tasked with a specific mission to scavenge the remnants of humanity's legacy. The first team, led by our most resourceful members, ventured into the abandoned shops and supermarkets of New York in search of sustenance. Human food, with its colorful packaging and foreign writings, proved to be a revelation to our taste buds. Packaged in preservative covers and bursting with energy, these sugary delights provided us with the nourishment we needed to sustain ourselves in this strange new world. Meanwhile, another team was dispatched to explore the vast network of clinics and hospitals that dotted the cityscape. What they discovered within those hallowed halls exceeded our wildest expectations. The technologies of the humans far surpassed our own, with devices capable of diagnosing and treating any ailment known to our kind. It was a treasure trove of medical marvels, each one a testament to the ingenuity and innovation of the human race. A third team set out to gather all available technologies that could improve our quality of life on Earth, from advanced communication devices to energy-efficient appliances. We salvaged whatever we could find, eager to make use of these newfound resources to build a better future for ourselves. Finally, I was among the team tasked with gathering materials to rebuild and expand our own ship. We scoured the abandoned warehouses and factories of New York, collecting raw materials and spare parts to fuel our ambitious project. With each discovery, our excitement grew, fueled by the prospect of transforming our humble vessel into a beacon of hope in this vast, empty world. As we worked tirelessly to gather our spoils and bring them back to the diplomatic endeavor, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. We were like children in a candy store, eager to explore every corner of this strange new world and uncover its secrets. But beneath our excitement lay a nagging sense of unease. What had happened to the people who once called this planet home? And could the same fate befall us if we were not careful? As we pondered these questions, we resolved to tread carefully, to approach this new world with caution and respect. For while Earth may hold untold riches and wonders, it also held secrets that we were only beginning to uncover. And as we set out on our journey of exploration and discovery, we knew that the truth of Earth's mysterious past would soon reveal itself, shaping the course of our destiny in ways we could not yet imagine. As we dined and feasted on the spoils of our scavenging efforts, our lady captain remained resolute in her focus on the task at hand, to find a way back home to Guerrera. While the allure of Earth's riches and wonders beckoned to us, we knew that our true purpose lay in bringing an end to the war that threatened our planet's very existence. Our lady captain's words echoed in the cavernous halls of the diplomatic endeavor, a sobering reminder of the urgency of our mission. Guerrero was still in danger, torn apart by the relentless conflict between East and West, and it was up to us to bring an end to the bloodshed before it was too late. But as we turned our attention to the matter of repairing our ship and making the journey back home, a grim realization dawned upon us. The diplomatic endeavor, though miraculously intact after its journey through the wormhole, was not built for intergalactic travel. Its fragile frame and limited capabilities meant that even if we were to repair it, it would never be able to withstand the rigors of a journey back to Guerrera. Our residual robot, Wix-1, confirmed our worst fears with its analysis of the situation. The only viable solution was to build a new ship, one large enough to accommodate our crew, and equipped with the necessary technology to navigate the vast expanse of space. But such an undertaking would require time, resources, and knowledge that we did not possess. Wix-1 estimated that it would take approximately 10 human years to construct a ship capable of making the journey back to Guerrera. For us, stranded on this alien world, the prospect of spending a decade in exile seemed daunting and overwhelming, but our resolve remained unbroken, fueled by the knowledge that our mission was far from over. And so, with a heavy heart and a determination to see our task through to its end, we set about the monumental challenge of building a new ship. We scoured the abandoned warehouses and factories of Earth, salvaging whatever materials we could find and repurposing them for our own use. Despite the obstacles before us, we pressed on, determined to bring an end to the war and return home. Each day brought new challenges, but with each challenge, we grew stronger, forging ahead with unwavering determination and a steadfast belief in the possibility of a better tomorrow. And though the road ahead was long and fraught with peril, we refused to give up hope, for in the darkest of times, it was hope that would guide us home. As we continued our efforts to gather resources to sustain us during our extended stay on Earth, a sense of camaraderie and unity flourished among our crew. The serene landscapes and tranquil atmosphere of our new home offered a much-needed respite from the ceaseless conflict that had plagued Guerrera, our cherished homeworld. However, our mission took an unexpected turn when our residual robot intercepted a mysterious transmission, a broadcast from a long-forgotten human president named Edward. In his cryptic message, President Edward spoke of a secret treasure discovered by humanity, promising to revolutionize space exploration and unlock vast potential. The message left us intrigued yet puzzled, as its true significance remained elusive. Nevertheless, our lady captain saw in this discovery a glimmer of hope, a potential solution to our predicament. If this treasure aids humanity in space exploration, she pondered, it could surely assist us in constructing our ship, expediting our return to Guerrera. But the whereabouts of this treasure remained unknown, prompting us to embark on a quest for answers. Determined to unravel its mysteries, we set out to explore Earth, searching for clues that might lead us to the fabled treasure. As we delved deeper into our investigation, our resolve remained unwavering, fueled by the hope of finding a solution to our plight and securing a brighter future for ourselves and our people. Though the journey ahead was fraught with challenges, we remained steadfast in our determination, united in our quest for discovery and redemption. As the weight of our newfound knowledge settled upon us, a sense of urgency filled the air. Our trusty residual robot, Wix 1, delivered the sobering news that the location of the elusive treasure remained unknown, potentially requiring us to embark on a perilous journey across all the human continents, a journey that would consume our precious fuel reserves. However, our unwavering leader, Lady Captain Tharnax, refused to be deterred by the daunting challenges ahead. With unwavering determination and fierce resolve, she rallied us, urging us to press forward in our quest for knowledge about this enigmatic planet. We cannot allow ourselves to falter in our pursuit, she declared, her voice ringing with conviction. If there is even a sliver of hope that something on this planet can aid us in ending the war on Guerrera and securing a brighter future for our people, then we must seize it with all our might. Her impassioned words ignited a fire within each of us, renewing our determination to uncover the secrets of Earth and its lost inhabitants. For too long, our people had suffered under the shadow of war and conflict, and if there was a chance to break free from the cycle of violence and forge a new destiny on this planet, then we were duty-bound to pursue it. With Lady Tharnax leading the way, we set about making preparations for our journey into the unknown. Despite the uncertainty that lay ahead, there was a palpable sense of determination among us, a shared resolve to see this mission through to its conclusion. As night fell and the stars emerged overhead, we gathered together to share a final meal before our departure. Lady Tharnax insisted that we take the time to nourish ourselves and replenish our strength, knowing that we would need all our energy for the challenges that lay ahead. And so, we dined together in camaraderie and solidarity, savoring each bite of food as if it were our last. There was a sense of quiet determination in the air, a shared understanding that we were embarking on a journey of great importance, one that would test us to our limits, but also offer the promise of hope and redemption. As the night wore on and the hour grew late, Lady Tharnax addressed us once more, her voice filled with quiet resolve. Tomorrow we embark on a journey that will take us to the ends of the earth and beyond, she said. But we do not embark on this journey alone. We do so together as a united crew, bound by a common purpose and a shared determination to succeed. With her words echoing in our ears, we retired to our quarters, readying ourselves for the challenges that awaited us. Tomorrow would mark the beginning of a new chapter in our journey, a chapter filled with uncertainty, but also with the promise of discovery and adventure. And with Lady Tharnax leading the way, we knew that anything was possible. As the first light of dawn painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson, we gathered on the deck of our ship, the diplomatic Endeavorer, ready to embark on our journey across the vast expanse of Earth. Lady Captain Tharnax stood at the helm, her eyes alight with determination as she unfurled a long list detailing our itinerary for the days ahead. Our mission begins in Africa, specifically Egypt, where the ancient pyramids stand as monuments to the ingenuity of humankind, Lady Tharnax announced, her voice carrying over the quiet hum of the ship's engines. From there, we will journey to South America, to the remote Rubando Island, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. The crew listened intently as Lady Tharnax outlined our route, her words painting a vivid picture of the wonders that awaited us in each corner of the globe. Next, we will venture to Asia, where we will marvel at the majestic Great Walls of China and pay homage to the timeless beauty of the Taj Mahal, she continued. Then, we will brave the icy wilderness of Antarctica, a land untouched by civilization, before making our way to Europe, where we will explore the hidden depths of the final caves. Finally, Lady Tharnax's gaze swept over the crew, her expression resolute. Our final destination will be the Pink Lakes of Australia, where we will witness the breathtaking beauty of nature in all its glory, she declared. Each of these locations holds the key to unlocking the secrets of Earth, and it is our duty to uncover them. With our course set and our spirits high, we set about making final preparations for our departure. The ship had been repaired and outfitted with everything we would need for the journey ahead, thanks to the tireless efforts of our crew. As we bid farewell to the familiar sights of America, a sense of anticipation filled the air, mingled with a tinge of sadness at leaving behind the land we had come to know and love. But there was no time for sentimentality as we set our sights on the horizon, eager to explore the wonders that awaited us in the far corners of the earth. With a final glance back at the world we were leaving behind, we steeled ourselves for the adventure that lay ahead, knowing that whatever challenges we may face, we face them together as a united crew, bound by a common purpose and a shared determination to succeed. And so, with the engines roaring to life and the stars beckoning us onward, we began our journey into the unknown, ready to chart a course through the wonders of Earth and beyond. As our ship descended upon the sandy deserts of Egypt, a sense of awe washed over us at the sight before us. The towering pyramids rose majestically from the golden sands, their ancient stones whispering tales of civilization long past. Eager to explore this wonder of the world, we ventured into the nearby settlements to replenish our supplies. The local cuisine captivated our senses, rich in flavor and sustenance, a stark contrast to the processed foods we had grown accustomed to. It was a reminder of the simplicity and purity of Earth's offerings, a testament to the resilience of its people. With our hunger sated and our spirits renewed, we made our way to the foot of the pyramid, its imposing presence looming overhead. It was a marvel of human engineering, a testament to the ingenuity and craftsmanship of its creators. As we marveled at its intricacies, our resident robot, Wix-1, detected a hollow space within its depths, a hidden chamber that promised to reveal the secrets held within. With determination in our hearts, we set about deciphering the cryptic code that sealed the chamber's entrance. Hours passed as we worked tirelessly, our minds racing with anticipation at what lay beyond the threshold. Finally, with a triumphant click, the door swung open, revealing a chamber shrouded in darkness. As we ventured inside, our senses were assailed by the musty scent of ancient tombs and the eerie stillness of the air. Rows upon rows of mummies lay before us, their preserved forms a haunting reminder of the civilization that once thrived within these walls. Wix-1 informed us that these were the remains of ancient humans, their bodies preserved through a ritualistic process known as mummification, a practice designed to safeguard their memories for eternity. But our exploration was cut short when one of our scout teammates accidentally triggered a mechanism awakening the mummies from their slumber. With a furious roar, they rose from their resting places, their ancient eyes burning with an otherworldly rage. In a panic, we fled from the chamber, sealing the entrance behind us in a desperate bid to escape. As we caught our breath outside the pyramid, a sense of reverence washed over us for the civilization that had once called this place home. Despite their primitive appearance, the humans had possessed a wisdom and sophistication far beyond our expectations, their legacy preserved within the ancient stones of the pyramid. It was a sobering reminder that, though we may come from a more advanced civilization, there was much we could learn from the inhabitants of Earth. As we continued on our journey, we vowed to approach each new encounter with humility and respect, honoring the art and culture of this remarkable planet that had become our temporary home. With the mysteries of Egypt behind us, we set our sights on the next leg of our journey, Asia. Our lady captain, Tharnox, had meticulously planned our route, ensuring we had more than enough fuel to reach our destinations. Our mission was clear. We had to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within the ancient wonders of this vast continent. Our first stop was the Great Wall of China, a towering monument to human ingenuity that stretched across the landscape for thousands of miles. Despite our exhaustive search, scouring every nook and cranny of the wall, we found no trace of the elusive treasure we sought. Disheartened but undeterred, we pressed on, knowing that our journey had only just begun. As we journeyed further into the heart of Asia, exhaustion threatened to overtake us. But Lady Tharnox urged us onward. Our next destination awaited us, the majestic Taj Mahal in India, a symbol of timeless beauty and romance. Yet, our hopes of finding the elusive treasure began to wane as our resident robot scanned the magnificent structure, revealing nothing of significance. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, fate intervened in the form of a curious crewmate, whose unintended meddling with a historical relic triggered a chain of events that would change everything. As a hidden passageway was revealed within the walls of the Taj Mahal, we found ourselves venturing into the unknown depths below. What we discovered there defied all logic and expectation. A war room adorned with the flag of the Central Council of Guerrera, our home planet. Shock reverberated through our ranks as we grappled with the implications of this startling revelation. How had our planet's symbol come to be hidden beneath the Taj Mahal on Earth? And what secrets did this clandestine chamber hold? Even Lady Tharnox, our stalwart leader, was left reeling by the magnitude of this discovery. As we stood amidst the echoes of the past, facing an uncertain future, one thing became abundantly clear. Our journey was far from over, and the mysteries of Earth were only just beginning to reveal themselves. As our journey continued to unfold, our Lady Captain, Tharnox, found herself grappling with a torrent of conflicting emotions. The revelation of Earth's secrets had shaken her to her core, casting doubt upon the very foundation of her beliefs. Throughout our voyage to Rubando Island in South America, her mind was consumed with questions and uncertainties, her usual resolve wavering in the face of newfound truths. According to the historical records stored within our resident robot, no one from our planet had ever ventured beyond the confines of our solar system, a fact that had been drilled into us by the Central Council from a young age. Yet, here we were, traversing the vast expanse of space and unearthing secrets that challenged everything we thought we knew. The realization that the Council had withheld such crucial information left Lady Tharnox feeling betrayed and disillusioned. As we arrived at Rubando Island, the picturesque beauty of our surroundings provided a brief respite from the tumultuous thoughts swirling within our captain's mind. The island was a paradise of lush vegetation and pristine beaches, a tranquil oasis amidst the chaos of our mission. Despite our best efforts to engage her in the leisurely activities we had planned, Lady Tharnox remained preoccupied, her focus consumed by the weight of her revelations. For Lady Tharnox, the Central Council had always been a pillar of authority and trust, a beacon of guidance in an uncertain world. Their island, with its transparent governance and meticulously structured society, had served as a model of excellence for our own civilization. To discover that they had concealed the truth from her, a high-ranking official cast a shadow of doubt over everything she had ever known. As the sun began to set over Rubando Island, casting a golden hue across the horizon, we gathered around our captain, offering words of support and solidarity. Despite the turmoil raging within her, Lady Tharnox found solace in the camaraderie of her crew, finding strength in their unwavering loyalty. Together we agreed to spend the night on the island, seeking solace in the beauty of our surroundings and the bonds of friendship that held us together. As we settled in for the night, the gentle lull of the ocean waves and the rustle of palm trees provided a soothing backdrop to our reflections. Tomorrow would bring new challenges and uncertainties, but for now, we found comfort in the simple pleasures of companionship and the promise of a new day. As our journey led us to the Pink Lakes of Australia, I couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement coursing through my veins. Each new destination brought with it the promise of discovery, and the vibrant hues of the Pink Lakes were no exception. Yet, beneath the surface of our awe and wonder lurked a palpable tension, a sense of unease that had been steadily building since our departure from Guerrera. The tranquility of the Pink Lakes belied the turmoil that raged within our midst. Our Lady Captain, Tharnox, carried the weight of her revelations like a burden upon her shoulders, her once unwavering faith in the central authority shattered by the truths we had uncovered. As we set out to explore the shores of the Pink Lakes, her normally resolute demeanor was tinged with a simmering anger and betrayal. Our resident robot had pointed us towards the Pink Lakes as a potential location of the elusive human secret we sought, a glimmer of hope amidst the uncertainty that clouded our mission. With each step we took along the pink-hued shoreline. Our senses were heightened, our eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the hidden treasure that lay buried beneath the earth. But as we delved deeper into the Australian wilderness, the idyllic beauty of our surroundings gave way to a harsh reality, a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked within this untamed land. The air was thick with tension as we pressed on, our senses on high alert for any hint of danger. Suddenly, without warning, chaos erupted. One of our teammates was set upon by a savage beast, a wolf, its feral eyes glinting with primal hunger. In a frenzy of violence, the creature attacked, tearing into flesh with a ferocity that sent shockwaves through our ranks. Instinct kicked in, and we rallied together, fighting tooth and nail to defend our fallen comrade. The air was thick with the scent of blood and sweat as we grappled with the beast, our weapons clashing against its formidable strength. In the end, it was our unity that prevailed. With a final, decisive blow, we vanquished the creature, but the toll of the battle weighed heavily upon us. As we tended to our wounded and surveyed the aftermath of the skirmish, a somber realization washed over us. The world of Earth was far more treacherous than we had ever imagined. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, one thing remained certain: our resolve. Despite the dangers that lay ahead, we were determined to press on, to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within the Pink Lakes and beyond. For the fate of our people and the future of our civilization depended on it. As the howls of the wolf pack echoed through the dense foliage of the Australian outback, a sense of urgency gripped our weary souls. With the knowledge that these creatures hunted in packs, we knew that our situation had taken a dire turn. Our lady captain, Tharnox, locked within the confines of our ship, was in imminent danger, and we were powerless to aid her from the safety of the exterior. In a desperate bid to defend our vessel, we hastened our retreat, our footsteps quickening as the haunting cries of the wolves grew ever closer. The sight that greeted us upon our return was a harrowing one. The wolf pack had descended upon our ship, their frenzied assault threatening to tear apart the very heart of our means of escape. With our captain trapped within and our weapons locked away, we were faced with a dire predicament. The odds seemed insurmountable, our fate hanging in the balance, as the wolves ravaged our only hope of survival. Yet, in the face of adversity, Lady Tharnox remained resolute. Through the crackling static of our communication devices, her voice rang out, a beacon of strength in the darkness of our despair. She outlined a daring plan, a plan that called for self-sacrifice, for the greater good of our mission and the survival of our crew. With unwavering determination, she pledged to emerge from the confines of our ship, armed to the teeth with the weapons necessary to fend off our lupine adversaries. It was a plan fraught with peril, a gambit that risked her very life. But in the face of imminent danger, there was no room for hesitation. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. In a moment of selflessness that defied logic and reason, our stalwart companion, Wix-1, the ever-loyal resident robot, made the ultimate sacrifice. With a burst of calculated precision, it threw itself into the path of the oncoming wolves, diverting their attention away from our captain and towards itself. As the chaos of battle erupted around us, we watched in stunned silence as Wix-1 valiantly fought to protect us, its mechanical form standing defiant against the savage onslaught of the wolf pack. In its final moments, it bought us the precious time we needed to rally our forces and mount a counterattack. With a heavy heart and tears streaming down our faces, we unleashed a torrent of firepower upon our lupine adversaries, driving them back with unrelenting force. The battle was fierce and unforgiving, but fueled by the memory of our fallen comrade, we fought with the determination born of desperation. In the end, victory came at a steep cost. The wolves lay defeated, their lifeless bodies scattered across the blood-soaked earth, but amidst the carnage, a solemn silence descended upon our ranks. Wix-1, our faithful companion, lay broken and battered, its once indomitable spirit extinguished in the heat of battle. As we gathered around the shattered remains of our fallen friend, A sense of grief and loss weighed heavily upon us. But in the midst of our mourning, a glimmer of hope flickered within our hearts. For though Wix I may have fallen, its sacrifice had not been in vain. In giving its life to protect ours, it had shown us the true meaning of courage and selflessness, a legacy that would live on in our hearts for eternity. As the somber reality of our loss settled upon us like a heavy blanket of sorrow, the once promising journey that lay ahead now seemed shrouded in uncertainty and doubt. Wix, our steadfast companion and guide through the unknown depths of earth, lay broken and irreparable, a stark reminder of the fragility of life in this unforgiving world. And gathering the scattered remnants of our fallen comrade, we attempted to piece together what remained of Wix I, hoping against hope that some semblance of its former self could be salvaged. But despite our best efforts, our attempts proved futile, leaving us to confront the harsh truth of our predicament. We were now truly alone in this vast and unfamiliar land. With our ship once again crippled by the savage onslaught of the wolf pack, our hopes of a swift escape from this perilous wilderness were dashed. Every attempt to repair the damage wrought upon our vessel seemed futile, as though fate itself conspired to keep us tethered to this forsaken realm. The once idyllic shores of Australia, which had offered us respite from the trials of our journey, now seemed tainted by the specter of danger that lurked in the shadows. No longer could we afford the luxury of lingering in this precarious sanctuary, for the threat of further attacks loomed ominously on the horizon. With heavy hearts and grim determination, we made the unanimous decision to press onward, driven by the desperate need to uncover the elusive human secret that had eluded us thus far. But with our ship's resources dwindling and our path forward fraught with peril, the choice before us weighed heavily upon our weary souls. Antarctica, with its icy embrace and barren landscapes, beckoned to us as the next destination in our quest for answers. In the frigid depths of this frozen wasteland, we hoped to find the key to unlocking the mysteries of the human treasure, a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness that threatened to engulf us. And so, with resolve renewed and our spirits bolstered by the memory of our fallen comrade, we set course for the icy expanse of Antarctica, steeling ourselves for the challenges that lay ahead. For in the face of adversity, it is often in our darkest hours that we find the strength to persevere, to press onward in pursuit of our ultimate goal, the salvation of our people, and the preservation of hope in a world consumed by chaos. Our journey to Antarctica was a harrowing trial of endurance, where the icy winds battled relentlessly against our struggling vessel. With each gust, our ship creaked and groaned, its structural integrity teetering on the brink of collapse. Despite our efforts to maintain control, the elements proved too powerful and we were forced to crash land on the unforgiving terrain below. As the flames engulfed our once proud ship, we emerged from its wreckage, facing a stark and unforgiving landscape, surrounded by vast expanses of ice, with no sign of civilization in sight. We confronted the harsh reality of our predicament. In this frozen wilderness, where the biting cold pierced through layers of clothing and chilled us to the bone, survival seemed like an impossible feat. Yet, even as despair threatened to engulf us, our resolve remained unbroken. For days on end, we scoured the icy wasteland in search of the elusive human secret, but our efforts yielded only frustration and exhaustion. Each passing day brought us no closer to our goal, and as the weeks wore on, our spirits waned. But amid the desolation, Lady Tharnox stood as a beacon of unwavering determination. Fueled by righteous fury and a burning desire for answers, Lady Tharnox refused to surrender to defeat. Though battered and broken, she vowed to press on, even if it meant facing death itself in the icy embrace of Antarctica. And so, with grim determination, she led us forward into the frozen unknown. Through blinding blizzards and bone-chilling cold, we pressed onward, guided by the faint signal detected by our sensors, a beacon of hope amidst the desolation. With each step, we drew closer to our destination, driven by the indomitable spirit of humanity and the unbreakable bond that united us as a crew. And though the journey ahead was fraught with peril, we faced it head-on, fueled by the belief that our perseverance would be rewarded. For in the heart of Antarctica, amidst the unforgiving ice and snow, lay the promise of discovery and the hope of salvation for our embattled crew. After days of relentless trekking through the frigid expanse of Antarctica, our spirits were at their lowest ebb. Exhausted and disillusioned, we trudged on, each step heavier than the last. Lady Tharnox, our indomitable captain, had borne the weight of our collective despair with the stoic resolve, but even her formidable strength seemed to falter under the weight of our futile search. Then, in a moment of despair, so palpable it seemed to hang in the air like a shroud, Lady Tharnox broke down. Her anguished cry echoed through the desolate landscape, a haunting lament for our dashed hopes and shattered dreams. But as her voice wavered and cracked, a miracle unfolded before our eyes. A hairline fracture appeared in the icy surface beneath our feet, beckoning us with an otherworldly allure. With trembling anticipation, we followed its meandering path, each step bringing us closer to the mysterious sanctuary hidden beneath the frozen wasteland. As we entered the cavernous depths, a wave of warmth washed over us, banishing the biting cold and enveloping us in its comforting embrace. Inside the cavern, we found a haven unlike any we had ever seen, a refuge from the harsh realities of the outside world. The walls were adorned with ancient symbols and intricate carvings, hinting at a civilization long forgotten. Tables laden with food and drink beckoned to us, tempting us with their bounty. But Lady Tharnox urged caution. "We are close," she whispered, her eyes alight with determination. "The human secret awaits us." With renewed purpose, we pressed on, following the winding tunnels deeper into the heart of the cave. And there, bathed in a radiant glow, we found it, the human secret we had sought with such fervent determination. A vial of pure light, pulsating with untold power, lay nestled within a crystalline chamber, casting its ethereal radiance upon us. With trembling hands, Lady Tharnox reached out to claim the precious artifact, but as she drew near, a deafening alarm shattered the silence. The cave trembled and convulsed, its walls closing in around us with crushing force. Desperate to escape, we fled from the collapsing cavern, our hearts pounding with fear and adrenaline. Emerging into the blinding light of day, we watched in awe as the cave sealed itself shut, swallowing our hopes and dreams along with it. But our moment of triumph was short-lived, for above us loomed a sight that struck fear into our hearts. A vast armada of ships, blotting out the sky with their ominous presence. A voice echoed through the air, commanding us to descend to the ground below. With trepidation coursing through our veins, we obeyed, uncertain of what awaited us in the shadow of those towering behemoths. But one thing was clear. Our journey was far from over, and the challenges that lay ahead would test us to our very limits. As the colossal human ship descended from the heavens, its sleek metallic hull gleaming in the sunlight, we stood in awe of its sheer magnitude. Compared to our humble craft, this vessel was a behemoth, an engineering marvel that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. We were ushered aboard, our senses overwhelmed by the grandeur of our surroundings. The interior of the ship was unlike anything we had ever seen. Vast corridors stretched into the distance, bustling with activity as human crew members went about their duties. Everywhere we looked, there were signs of advanced technology and meticulous craftsmanship, a testament to the ingenuity of the human race. Despite our apprehension, we were greeted with cautious curiosity rather than hostility. The humans regarded us with a mixture of wariness and intrigue, their expressions guarded yet not unfriendly. It was clear that they were assessing us, trying to determine our intentions. Finally, we were brought before a man who introduced himself as President Edward, the same voice that had echoed through the airwaves in the broadcasts we had heard. His demeanor was calm and composed, his eyes betraying a keen intelligence as he studied us intently. After a brief exchange, President Edward gave the order for our restraints to be removed. He had watched the recordings of our encounters and had deemed us non-threatening, a decision that filled us with relief and gratitude. Seated in the presence of this enigmatic leader, we listened intently as President Edward recounted the tale of humanity's exodus from Earth. Long ago, he explained, mankind had been torn apart by division and conflict, much like our own homeworld of Guerrera. But unlike us, they had found a way to transcend their differences and unite under a common cause. It was the discovery of a revolutionary energy source, an unparalleled power that could illuminate not just their world, but countless others across the cosmos, that had spurred humanity into action. Determined to share this gift with the galaxy, they had embarked on a monumental mission to spread enlightenment and prosperity to all who sought it. Every human family had been granted a ship, a vessel of hope and progress, tasked with bringing light to the darkest corners of the universe. And so, with hearts full of purpose and determination, they had departed their home planet, leaving behind the familiar confines of Earth to venture into the great unknown. As President Edwards spoke, his words resonated with a profound sense of conviction and purpose. It was clear that the humans were driven by a noble ideal, a vision of unity and cooperation that transcended the boundaries of individual nations and species. In that moment, I realized that we stood on the threshold of a new era, one defined not by conflict and division, but by cooperation and mutual understanding. And though the challenges ahead would be great, I knew that together, humanity and our own people could forge a future brighter than any we had dared to imagine. As our captain stood before President Edward, her heart heavy with the burden of truth, she knew that she had to act swiftly to save her people from the machinations of the Central Council of Geneva. With a fervent plea, she implored the human leader to aid us in bringing an end to the senseless bloodshed tearing our planet apart. However, the response she received was not what she had expected. President Edwards' expression darkened as he revealed the grim reality behind the conflict plaguing Guerrera. It was not a civil war fueled by ideological differences, but a calculated act of genocide orchestrated by those in power. The Central Council of Geneva, it seemed, had long been aware of the impending demise of Guerrera's son. Faced with the prospect of their planet's imminent demise, they had resorted to desperate measures in a bid to secure the survival of their people. Earth had been but one of many potential sanctuaries they had considered, but their callous disregard for the lives of others had led them down a path of deceit and treachery. Through carefully presented evidence, President Edward painted a chilling picture of the Central Council's true motives. They had instigated the conflict between the East and West, using it as a smokescreen to mask their true intentions. The war served as a cruel selection process, determining who would be deemed worthy of salvation and who would be left to perish in the dying light of their son. The revelation struck our captain to her core. How could those entrusted with the welfare of their people be capable of such monstrous acts? The Central Council's actions were not merely misguided, they were heinous crimes against humanity, perpetrated in the name of self-preservation. In that moment, our captain made a solemn vow to put an end to the Central Council's tyranny and ensure that justice was served for the countless lives lost in their pursuit of power. With unwavering resolve, she pledged to rally our people and lead them in the fight against oppression and tyranny. But the path ahead would not be easy. The Central Council wielded vast resources and wielded considerable influence over the masses. To challenge their authority would be to invite retribution upon ourselves. Yet we knew that we could not stand idly by while our planet was consumed by darkness. Our captain's impassioned plea to the human president for immediate assistance fell on sympathetic ears, but the priorities of the galactic struggle took precedence over the plight of our planet. With heavy hearts, we accepted the reality that we would have to face the challenges of reclaiming Guerrera on our own. However, the president's offer of a warship to aid in our mission provided a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness that shrouded our homeworld. As we embarked on our journey home aboard the formidable vessel provided by our newfound allies, a sense of determination coursed through our veins. The sleek advanced design of the warship instilled confidence in our hearts, and we felt reassured that we had the means to confront the oppressive forces that had plunged Guerrera into chaos. The voyage back to our planet was swift and uneventful, thanks to the advanced technology of the warship. With each passing moment, our anticipation grew, mingled with apprehension at the sight that awaited us upon our return. Finally, as we breached the atmosphere of Guerrera, our worst fears were realized. The once vibrant cities lay in ruins, consumed by the flames of war. The devastation was staggering, a stark testament to the ruthlessness of the Central Council and their iron-fisted rule. Amidst the chaos, the floating islands that served as the stronghold of the Central Council loomed ominously in the distance, a symbol of their unchecked power and dominance over our world. But we refused to be cowed by their tyranny. We were determined to fight back, to reclaim our planet from the clutches of oppression. As we surveyed the devastation below, a sense of urgency gripped us. We knew that time was of the essence, that every moment wasted was another victory for our enemies. With grim resolve, we set about formulating a plan of action, determined to strike back against the forces that had laid waste to our world. Gathering our courage and steeling our hearts, we embarked on our mission to liberate Guerrera from the grip of tyranny. With the power of the warship at our disposal and the unwavering resolve of our comrades by our side, we knew that victory was within our grasp. The journey ahead would be fraught with peril and uncertainty, but we were ready to face whatever challenges lay in our path, for we were the last line of defense, the final hope for our planet's salvation. And together, we would rise to meet the challenge, no matter the cost. With the powerful warship granted to us by the humans, we found ourselves in a position to broadcast a message of truth and defiance to the entirety of Guerrera. Our captain, fueled by righteous indignation and unwavering determination, stood before the communication array and addressed our beleaguered planet. In a voice that echoed with passion and resolve, she laid bare the deceit and treachery of the Central Council, revealing their sinister machinations and the dire truth of our dying sun. The people of Guerrera listened intently as our captain spoke, their hearts heavy with the weight of betrayal and despair. But before our message could reach its conclusion, disaster struck. The broadcast was abruptly cut off, intercepted by the Central Council in a desperate bid to silence the truth. Panic swept through our ranks as we realized the gravity of our situation. The Central Council wasted no time in retaliating against us, deploying their formidable warships from both the east and west to hunt us down. We were outnumbered, outgunned, but we refused to surrender to despair. We knew that our fight was not just for ourselves, but for the future of our planet and all who called it home. As the enemy vessels closed in on us, we braced ourselves for the inevitable confrontation. We knew that the odds were stacked against us, that our chances of survival were slim, but we also knew that we could not falter in the face of tyranny, that we had a duty to stand up for what was right, no matter the cost. With grim determination, we prepared to meet our fate head-on, ready to fight to the last breath in defense of our planet and the principles of freedom and justice for which we stood. The battle that awaited us would be fierce and unforgiving, but we would not back down, for we were the defenders of Guerrera, and we would never surrender to tyranny. As the war raged on, our mighty warship stood as a beacon of resistance against the overwhelming forces of the Central Council. We unleashed the full power of our arsenal, raining destruction upon the enemy ships with every volley of fire. Yet, for all our strength and resolve, we knew that we were fighting a losing battle. The Central Council's armada seemed endless, their ships swarming around us like a swarm of angry hornets. Our defenses were strained to the breaking point, our weapons depleted and our crew exhausted. Desperation gnawed at the edges of our resolve as we fought on, knowing that our survival depended on holding out against impossible odds. But then, just when it seemed that all hope was lost, salvation appeared on the horizon. A trumpet sounded through the void of space, drawing our gaze upwards to behold a sight that filled us with awe and wonder. It was the human ships, descending from the heavens like avenging angels come to our aid. With their superior firepower and advanced technology, The human ships turned the tide of battle in an instant. They swooped down upon the Central Council's armada with a ferocity and determination that left no doubt as to their intentions. The enemy ships, caught off guard by the sudden arrival of this formidable reinforcement, faltered in their advance, their ranks thrown into disarray by the onslaught. The human pilots, fearless and resolute, engaged the enemy with unmatched skill and precision, their weapons blazing as they tore through the Central Council's forces with ruthless efficiency. Wave after wave of enemy ships fell before them, their hulls shattered and their crews scattered to the void. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, we dared to hope. The impossible had become possible, and victory was within our grasp. With the aid of our newfound allies, we pressed forward, driving the enemy back with a renewed vigor and determination. As the battle raged on, we fought side by side with the humans, united in our common cause against tyranny and oppression. Together we stood as a beacon of hope in the darkness, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity and the power of unity in the face of adversity. And when the dust finally settled and the last remnants of the Central Council's armada were scattered to the winds, we emerged victorious, battered but unbroken, ready to rebuild and forge a new future for our planet. For in that moment, we knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, as long as we stood together, there was nothing we could not overcome. The sun rose over Guerrera, casting its warm rays across the land as a symbol of hope and renewal. The once oppressive grip of the Central Council had been shattered, and the people of Guerrera stood united in their gratitude for the help they had received from their human allies. Lady Tharnax, our esteemed captain, rode at the head of the parade, her face adorned with a mixture of pride and humility. She had led us through the darkest of times, guiding us with unwavering resolve and steadfast determination. As we marched through the streets of our revitalized city, the cheers of the crowd echoed around us, a testament to the love and admiration they felt for their courageous leader. Beside Lady Tharnax rode her loyal team, each one honored for their bravery and sacrifice in the battle against the Central Council. Among them was myself, a humble member of the crew who had played a small but significant role in our victory. As we passed through the throngs of cheering citizens, I couldn't help but feel a swell of pride in my chest, knowing that I had been a part of something truly extraordinary. The formation of the new Central Council marked a turning point in our history, a chance to build a brighter future for all the people of Guerrera. Led by Lady Tharnax, this council would be a beacon of hope and unity, guiding us forward with wisdom and compassion. No longer would we be ruled by the whims of a distant and corrupt elite. Instead, our leaders would be chosen from among us, elected to serve the common good and uphold the values of justice and equality. But perhaps the greatest heroes of all were our human allies, whose selfless intervention had saved us from the brink of destruction. With their advanced technology and boundless generosity, they had helped to restore order and stability to our world, earning the eternal gratitude of every man, woman, and child on Guerrera. As we gathered in the town square to celebrate our newfound freedom, I couldn't help but feel a sense of optimism for the future. Though our planet may never be Earth, we had forged a bond with our human allies that transcended the boundaries of worlds. Together, we would work hand in hand to build a world where peace, prosperity, and friendship reigned supreme. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting its golden light across the land, I knew that a new era had dawned for the people of Guerrera. With Lady Tharnax at the helm and the support of our human allies by our side, there was nothing we couldn't achieve. For in the end, it was not the power of our weapons or the might of our technology that saved us, but rather the strength of our unity and the power of our shared humanity. And as long as we stood together, there was nothing we couldn't overcome.